time, not for a little while, but when we go with a digital walk system, there will be we'll actually be able to listen to the presenter, Peter's heartbeat live. Not all the time, but sometimes the director will be able to bring that in. The other thing that has changed on that player is once the actual live stream, which you're watching right now, starts up, on the lower left-hand corner you'll see there is a number of days and time. That little timestamp is currently telling us how long that server's been running and without stopping. But that's going to change. That's going to have the date and time, Central African time, sometime later today. That'll start indicating the local time. The other thing that's different, which you might want to try out, is if you right-click, so the right mouse click on the video, you will see there are a number of setting options that are available. The first one is, well, I think it's second down the list, is you can see your buffer time. Now what that means is that you can actually see how many seconds of video is buffering in your player. And you can change that setting as well. So you can also change your buffer time in your player. This is going to allow people in different parts of the world with different stream speeds to be able to adjust their buffers so that it maximizes their viewing. I'm going to be blogging on that one of these days, in the next day or two, explaining better what that's all about. Yeah, I guess that's some of the immediately new things. Yeah.
The zebras really fade into the color of the dry riverbed. It's amazing. I mean, I would never think that this was Djuma if I switched on and someone said, where do you think this is in the world? It just looks incredibly desert-like and dry. It doesn't look like there's any food or anything for these zebras. In fact, it looks quite sad. It looks like the hyenas took over. I've just heard the game drive vehicle come back. In fact, I can see Herman through the window. Peter's obviously coming in here now. Hi, Peter. Do you want to come and talk to the audience? They will want to know about how you felt.
I was going to bring coffees along.
Yeah, we got coffee. I got a coffee. Cool. You got coffee.
I have coffee, but I don't want to take a seat. First of all, let me stick my head in here so you guys can see me. Where's the camera? Hello.
There's the camera. Here's the chat. Peter, there you go, look, everyone wants you. So yeah, basically we've just been talking to them about the walk. Hello, by the way. So, how are you feeling? Are you? It was an interesting walk. We were just talking to the audience about, I mean, unfortunately the signal and the sound wasn't great, but that whole elephant experience was, well, we need you to tell us about it, because for us this end we just heard a load of noise, and we didn't really see a huge amount, and it seemed like there was a lot going on. I didn't know whether the elephant was making the noise, whether you were making the noise, I don't know. But obviously you were the best person to have dealt with that, and you dealt with it incredibly well, but everyone's keen to know your side of the story.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite keen to talk about it a little bit as well. I just want to make sure, first of all, it wasn't misunderstood or misexperienced. Just quickly, how much of it could you guys actually see? I know that you could see a lot of it, but could you see everything? All right, so you were there for the whole experience. Cool. Very, very glad about that. It is, without going on about it too much, but those of you that know Graham, those of you that don't, maybe just for the first time today, him and Emily have been working at this for a very long time, and I think a live walk is something Mr. Wallington over there has been looking forward to for a long time. So that alone was special. Even if we saw nothing apart from some dry grass and some trees, it would have been an awesome experience. And then in true Wild Earth fashion, I think just sort of rehearsing almost live with you guys being part of everything as it happened was fantastic. The elephants themselves was a very interesting experience, and again, I don't want to talk about it too much. I think the experience will speak for itself to a large extent. There was so much I was thinking of for the first time ever, obviously, as being on foot. You know, this is the first time I've ever done it. Hey?
Sorry.
No worries. Okay. I'm just kidding. This is not the first time I've ever been on foot with elephants. I've done that many times before. But it was the first time I was doing it live. Not that live is a strange space for me. I've spent a bit of time doing that. But there was a lot to consider being on foot with the elephants where they were. Also just with how the signal worked and everything else in the area, there was quite a few things to consider. But not at one stage, and I hope you experienced that. Just when after she'd come, I can't remember if it was the first or the second time, I walked back, and what I really enjoyed was that I didn't feel stressed out or nervous at all. My tone of voice.
I knew you'd say that. I said to the audience, I bet you he comes in and goes, no, it was fine. But you seem to have it under control.
Yeah, but it was fine, and that's the important, very, very important part that I want to bring across now is that I'm not saying I wasn't, I certainly had adrenaline in my system, and I was certainly enjoying it, and colors were very bright, and I could, I could feel the ground under my feet through the boots. So that is all obviously very true. Look at that little zebra. It's tiny. Oh. Tiny one. I mean, that's maybe days old. Stunning. Imagine that poor zebra when it sees an elephant the first time. It's going to be a crazy experience for it. And that's a big part of it. It was just an interaction between two different species, humans and elephants in this case. It wasn't some weird aliens, humans, or anything like that. Those elephants have seen me before on foot, have seen other people on foot before in cars. And the response was a bit more than I hoped for at the first time. I'm sure for you guys as well, probably.
Yeah.
The first walk, we were planning just to do nice and quiet and just look around a little bit. But the elephants did move closer into the area that we were relative to signal. If they'd moved slightly different, we probably would have only seen them from a distance. And in the end, we were there, and it's live, and that's what we do. And the female came to look at us. But important from a behavior point of view is that she wasn't attacking us. Not once. Not during that whole course of the thing that she once tried to attack us. They were aware of us earlier. They came past towards us. They were aware of us when we were sitting on the log even before. And she was testing us. Like I said, the collared female has got a little bit more of a, I don't know what the word is, a vibe about her almost. The matriarch of that herd, the big female with the left tusk that's short and the right tusk that's quite sort of curved out to the side, is very, very calm and relaxed, and the younger females were testing us more. So the first thing is she was running up to us to see what we're doing. They knew we were there, and when we moved away, I actually wanted to move us to that termite mound that we ended up on. I wanted to wait there for them because that's the natural way they were heading in. And she just decided to come and see what we're up to. And again, look around the warthole, you'll see it often with elephants, the babies, even with birds, like I said, doves and starlings. I don't know if you could hear when I talked about that, but you'll see elephants chasing birds away. So it's not she wasn't attacking us once. She was testing us, seeing what we were about. When she came closer, standing ground, and Herman moving away, I knew that he was 100% safe, which is important. Means I don't have to think about anything else than what's obviously most pertinent at that moment, which is the big elephant that's trying to get your attention, and certainly doing so. But she was testing us. So I stopped, she stopped. She was realizing, okay, these things aren't here to attack us. They're not bothering us, but they're also not just going to keep on running away. They're also standing the ground. And then once we're back to where we're on top of the termite mound, it was 100% comfortable and fun space for us and for the elephants. And that was beautiful in the end, is seeing them all spread out there, literally just standing there looking at us, and then the one starting to play with the stick, and suddenly they're just elephants again. They're like, yes, there's humans, but the baby wants to eat this and the other one wants to play with that stick, and the natural behavior very, very quickly, just seeing that they're comfortable, the fact that they were relaxed, the way they were standing with their ears, the ways their eyes were moving, the way the trunks were hanging down. It became very clear that once we were there and they were in that space, they were comfortable and happy with where we were, and so were we. While we were, and I'm talking too much.
No, I just want to ask you a question. I actually didn't say, I can't remember whether we went out of signal or whether I just closed my eyes because I was freaked out, but when she started running, what did you do, and how close did she get to you? I mean, did you back off? Did you stand your ground? I know you made some noise, which I explained to the audience earlier was for reasons, you've got to remain strong and loud and show your presence. But how close did she get to you, and were you running backwards, and was the vehicle there, and what was the scene?
Again, I'm not 100% sure what was exactly seen. I just quickly glanced at the emails as well, and like Emily says, our eyes were closed for a bit. Thank you for all the well wishes, and I'm also glad I'm still alive, but please realize that nowhere during the course of that whole exercise did I once consider the fact that I wasn't going to be alive here afterwards. It really was fine, even if it's just a little bit different from what typical people do on a day when they're walking around. But when she came closer, and again, I don't know, often through the video it could even look a little bit different. At the moment I'm sitting next to Emily, but if I suddenly did this while I'm talking to you, the perspective can change quite a lot. And the same happens with the camera on the elephant. So at some stage it might have looked a bit closer than it maybe was.